Thank you for tuning into David's Life and Observation with your host, David Welch. Today's episode is a little bit different. So, yesterday I was pretty much on a rant about how law enforcement officers should be shot. Still believe that. Absolutely. But we need to take that a step further. We have we have too much corruption in this country. We have too much going on. Stupid cats went in and out. Come on in then. Anyways, we have too much corruption going on without there being any real crime committed or without there being a full investigation. Like Fort Hood, for example. Fort Hood, bodies keep turning up. People's lives keep getting ruined. I mean, if they did a full audit or an investigation of Fort Hood, they would find so many crimes being committed by the soldiers there. It's insane. It's not even the lower enlisted. It's the NCOs and above committing all sorts of crimes. Not only are they gun decking, which is punishable under the UCMJ, they're not doing the required maintenance. They're not doing shit they're supposed to. They're murdering motherfuckers out there, and then trying to hide the bodies in motherfucking Waco and motherfucking Copper's Cove and out in the fucking sticks and clean, or Belton Lake. Like, come on, you're gonna hide someone that has half the fucking lake on post? Like, stupid. But we keep seeing it. We keep seeing no investigation into Fort Hood. Nothing public anyway. I'm talking that base should be locked down, shut down, nobody in and out. But there's too much going on there. You have way too many soldiers, way too much. Like, if we did a full investigation of any of the bases, couldn't do it because there's too much money invested into what they got going on for them to stop motion. They can't. So even if there is an investigation, work would have to go on as normal, but I would love it to where they're just like federal agents are crawling up their ass, going through every bit of paperwork, looking at every incident for the past couple of years, and then start arresting motherfuckers for what they did wrong. Start firing commanders for doing shit wrong. Like, if they illegally seized a firearm from a soldier's spouse, wow, they should be arrested for that. Absolutely. You illegally obtained somebody else's property. It's called theft, motherfuckers. When it comes to just their relationships with the surrounding area, Copper's Cove, Clean, just that area alone, Coryell County, it's incredible the kind of throw under the bus relationship they have, especially with lower enlisted and the courts. Like, lower enlisted get shit on so bad. You got what, hundreds of suicides a year that they don't report to the public at all for anything, or stuff that has been deemed suicide has been clear fucking murders. You don't suicide your head off. No, not a suicide. When someone's head's sitting next to them in a vehicle, that's not a suicide. And ask them about that shit. That shit happened 2 years ago. Let's talk about the Breonna Taylor case. Still no justice. There's going to be no justice in that case. You're not even going to get full justice out of the other cases that are going on that are pretty big. I mean, like, it's just unreal how cops constantly put things on the back burner. And then 2020 gets even shittier by the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Like, wow, that sucks for everybody. She fought for women's rights. She was a powerful figure, as a justice. Now we're going to get stuck with another Republican fucking justice who kisses the Republican Party's ass and will pass every fucking fake religious doctrine bullshit you've ever seen in your life. For the next couple of years, I'm wagering if Trump gets reelected. It'll be the shittiest time in human history because the the justices will pass unjust laws. They will repeal shit that they're going to be so contradictory in their laws. It's going to be so fucking funny because they're going to be so torn between fascism and like real conservatism. Is like, y'all ain't real conservatives. You guys are so far right, you're fascist. And it's like, what do you mean, Dave? Like, yo, these guys are so far ingrained into the police state. They're such bootlickers that they're okay with damn near any law that affects the plebes. And if any law dare affect the rich and powerful will just find a way to get out of it. They'll pay off somebody. They'll, you know, like you got. Look at the disparity in justice here. You have women and men and kids lying to get into fucking Harvard and, paying off people to get into special schools. And then you got, a woman from, a fucking not so good area, using somebody else's address for their kid to go to school. And then that person gets 7 years. Whereas the people who are trying to get their kids into fucking Ivy League schools get what, months? We have such a disparity in justice in this country. It's insane. The entire Justice Department needs revamped. We need 100% fucking overhaul. But you know what we don't have in this country? Balls. We lack balls. There's no more balls left. All the balls have left. And here's what I mean. We have enough people who have enough testosterone to really, fuck shit up. But that's not what we need. We need an organized, methodically done execution of public officials. And, and here's what I mean. Like, I'm talking president, vice president, government officials all up and down the chain, just getting fucking whacked and replaced. Like, there's not enough of that. You got so many foot soldiers that are out there for the defense. Like, all apparatuses of law enforcement defend the rich and the politicians. If you didn't figure that out by now, that's their job. Their job is to defend the rich and to defend the politicians. They're not here to defend you and me. They're not here to defend the working class. They're not here to defend normal people on the street, because who do they accost? The people on the street. Who do they tax? The people on the street. Like, it's about to get real Robin Hood in 2021. Like, people don't understand. Like, you have literal gangster cops out there, like with the LA Sheriff's Department or the LAPD, who, it's funny you say they were ambushed, but they're literal gang members in the LA Sheriff's Department and the LAPD. Like, they're sworn to a freaking gang, and then they get shot at. Like, that's not surprising when you have literal gangsters as police. Now, on the other side of the coin, down in the deep south, down in the East Coast, you have KKK members who are police over there, and then even down in Arizona, you have just rogue cops doing whatever they think they can do. Like, you have people that are comply out here in Arizona, and they'll still get the dog sicked on them. Dude's compliant, listening, following commands, still sick a dog on him. You happen to be in the vicinity of anything going on, they find something on the road next to you, you're going to jail. That's how cops do out here. The worst cops in Arizona, hands down, are the Mesa PD. They will find literally anything to fuck you up. And then they will fuck you up on camera and still not get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And that's insane to me. That's how corrupt the Arizona courts are. I can't wait until there are more ambushes. I can't wait till more cops get gunned down. So check this out. So we had a recent case where the U.S. Marshals were chasing a father for kidnapping. He kidnapped his daughter. I figured that story out before it ever got big. I know exactly what the fuck happened. Here's what happened in that story. Mom was being an asshole. Mom wouldn't let dude see the daughter. He's got a 2-year-old daughter. If I had a 2-year-old daughter, I'd want to see him too. But you got these bitter ass women out here that will literally shield kids for years. They will tell the kid, "Oh, your father's a piece of shit. Your father ain't shit. You know, your father's a criminal." Mind you, the charges this guy had were from 20 years ago, right? Guy had charges from 20 years ago. The U.S. Marshals are like, "This motherfucker's armed and dangerous, and he's, you know, uh, committed armed robbery. He did all these things." Like, bitch, that was 20 years ago. Like, if past this prologue, you know, the Phoenix PD have committed all sorts of crimes. That's why nobody trusts your ass either, motherfuckers. Anyways, so there's an exchange of gunfire. The guy loses his life. The father dies, and the daughters return to the mother. And it's sad because how many stories are out there like that where fathers are alienated? And I'm not saying this is every case. I'm not saying every father needs to have contact with their kids, because there are some really shitty dudes out there. So let's take Sophia's case. I think it's Sophia. Sophia, can't remember. But there's a little girl out there saying, "Hey, I don't want to go back to my mom's because mom's boyfriend touches me and and our siblings, and I don't like it." Like, that right there is, as a father, I'm fucking dude up. Like, that dude does not pass go. I'm like getting rid of all of his appendages. I'm fucking that dude off so bad that nobody will ever be able to find him. Ever. And then I go ham on my ex-spouse for exposing my kid to that situation. I would beat her ass too. Like, "Oh, you're gonna hit women?" Yes, motherfucker. If my ex-wife exposed my kids to a pedophile, and that pedophile sitting there trying to molest my kids constantly, and my daughter tells me and my son tells me, "Hey, this dude's touching us," that dude's dead. Gone. No pass go, no nothing. Done, motherfucker. But we have a case like that. So Sophie tells dad, "Hey, boyfriend's molested me," but the CPS Karens got involved and were like, "No, the court order says, and if you don't go by CPS and our services, then both of you are going to go to jail." CPS is the word. CPS in and of itself needs to be thoroughly gutted. Period. They need to be retrained. I don't think you should be able to be a CPS worker unless you've been through fucking law school, because they violate the law so fucking bad. And you have CPS who lie in court every fucking day of the year. Every day of the year, these motherfuckers are lying in court. Like, not just my case. I'm talking, I've literally seen cases where you have a family bring in evidence to contradict CPS's narrative on the affidavit, and the judge won't even bat an eye. "Oh no, we found cause." Like, bitch, where's the cause? Like, you have evidence to contradict everything that CPS motherfucker said in the affidavit. But you found cause? No, you just want them in the system for as long as you can have them, so you can take the kids away from the parents, so you can get the money from that, and then you can feed into the larger pedophile ring that is ran by the judges and the CPS of the United States. They run the largest pedophile ring in the country. They constantly give your kids to pedophiles every day. And to say that doesn't happen, wow, you are woefully mistaken. There are thousands, I'm not talking hundreds, thousands of YouTube videos with people's battles with CPS, because they've learned, hey, if I don't film, CPS always wins. Even if I film, CPS still can win, but at least I'm documenting for the public that what they're saying is bullshit. We need an overhaul. We need to abolish the family law court, period. And what we need is an actual judge in the family law court, not a magistrate. We need a judge, and we need a jury. We need everything that you would still have in a criminal case, because if you leave it just up to the judge is going to side with the state every time. If they have nobody to hold the judge accountable for their decisions, the judge will always be right no matter what. Okay? Now, you would think we elect judges that are fair, that are unbiased, but judges are bought off too. They want to have a good relationship with the police because they want to have that, oh, I'm backing the blue. And then they want to have that relationship with the prosecutor, because once the prosecutor starts figuring out that judge isn't batting 1,000 for him, that prosecutor will use his bar connections to get rid of that fucking judge. They will file complaints. They will do everything they can to get rid of a judge that doesn't side with them. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So what I'm saying in this post is there needs to be investigations. There needs to be an overhaul. And then we lose Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That is a terrible tragedy because, like I said, the Supreme Court is going to be so lopsided in its decisions for the next however long those judges are alive. And it's literally going to be one of the onsets of the downfall of this country. And it's going to be a sliding scale of shit from here on out. You think 2020 is bad. Wait till 2021 locks its horns, they start coming out with some of these decisions. And we already have contradictory laws in the state. So we have a Second Amendment that says no law shall abridge the Second Amendment. You know, we have a right to keep and bear arms. We have a right to form a well-regulated militia with our communities, with our state, and regulate shit. But how many times have we seen militias get taken into custody by sheriffs, by law enforcement? One, we're funding them. That needs to stop. We need to put it to where law enforcement funds themselves. We need to stop funding them, or at least funding them to the point where they're so overgeared and overmanned. Because no law enforcement. So here's the thing about law enforcement officers. Politically, I would say most of them are right-wingers, about 90% of them. Some of them are liberal, not many. But here's the thing. They're not going to give up their paycheck. That's where you have law enforcement officers fucked up. Like, as long as they're getting paid good money to do what they do, they will keep doing it. So in order for you to do any real damage to law enforcement, there's two things you got to go after. One, their post-certification. Without that, they cannot get a job as a law enforcement officer ever again anywhere. So anytime they fuck up where they cost the city money, they need to lose that right away. That should be an automatic, like, lost your post-certification. Done. Two, take away their money. Review the contract with the city and say, hey, this contract doesn't benefit the people, and we have, too many officers. We have officers that are not fulfilling their oath to the Constitution or their oath to us as citizens. So we need to redo the contract. We need to be able to make decisions to get rid of people. We have a decision to get rid of sheriffs. Why can't we get rid of police chiefs? Why can't we get rid of individual officers? Like, they're technically our employees, but then they always say, oh, well, I don't work for you. I work for the city. Well, who is the city, dumbass? Us, the people. And if you're going to delineate the city as a corporation, we can go after the city too, because we have that power as well. So if the city council thinks they're aloof, that hey, there's no way you can affect me, well, it's either going to be one of two ways, motherfucker. You're either going to get impeached by paper or you're going to get impeached by blood. Depends on you. And with the way things are going, shit will keep popping off. More officers will be ambushed. I guarantee it. I hope that it happens. I hope it happens on a scale so bad that they call in a state of emergency, and then the escalation of gunfire happens increasingly, so that there's a civil war in this country, and it will clearly define that there are people fighting the government. That's the Civil War. It'll be people fighting the government. And then when they realize that is happening, it's called a revolution. So when that revolution kicks off and 90% of the people align with going against and revamping our government. The government officials that are in government now and who have been in the past, who are alive today, will all get fucked off. I don't care if you're Barack Obama. I don't care if you're Biden. I don't care if you're Trump. Anybody who's been in government, if you were ever a police officer, you should be fucking hung. That's my belief. If you were ever a redcoat in this country, you took a paycheck from the American people and violated your oath and you didn't prosecute bad cops, you absolutely should die. Absolutely should be hung. If you're a judge in this country who's taking money from police unions to have certain conviction rates and to have, things like that, or to let's go ahead and side with law enforcement. We'll go ahead and take you out to a big dinner there, Judge. Go ahead and get you some police gear, Judge. You want this weapon? Yeah, you can have it. Just you, though. Yeah. If you don't think that fucking happens, it fucking happens. Then, oh, wow. This isn't even on the wire. We have marshals right now making arrests out the yin yang, like 250 something arrests, rescue six kids. How many of those are tied to the Hollywood child pedophile ring? Why is not the Hollywood child pedophile ring being thoroughly ran through? What about Ghislaine Maxwell? What about that bitch? Like, does she just get just wait in jail until she gets murked, or what's going on there? Has she already been murked? We don't know. We don't get updates. And then when you have millions and millions of cases where people are just locked up for the dumbest shit, where they actually didn't commit a crime, but the cops coerced them into a confession just to get out. People, if you leave people in a room for 24 to 48 hours with no communication with anyone else, they will sign whatever the fuck they need to get out of there. And then they end up back in prison. Then they end up back in jail. And then you have them in court literally telling the judge, hey, no, they told me to agree to this and they said I would be free. What they don't tell your dumbass is you'll be free for a little bit. You'll be free for the day. You'll be released on your own recognizance at that moment. But then, we're going to get you. So much corruption. You got so much corruption, so much racism, so much elitism coming from police. It's stupid. You got cops out there pulling motherfuckers over for walking. You got cops out there putting people in a stranglehold for walking. Just because, you didn't comply with my commands. The fuck? Am I committing a crime, bitch? No. If I didn't commit a crime, you didn't see me do criminal activity, motherfucker. If you don't know emphatically I am the person you are looking for, let me be. Until you figure out you've got the right fucking person in custody. And these botched raids that keep happening, oh my God. You keep reading in the news. This happens every fucking day in Chicago every day, and in Houston of all places, where Chief Acevedo's like, hey, we're going to stop doing no-knock raids. That's not stopping doing raids. It's stopping doing no-knock raids. So these motherfuckers will knock, then batter your shit down with a tank. But that's not even the fun part. They get the wrong house. Like, how in the fuck do you get the wrong house? Like, was there no surveillance done? Like, what did they pay these cops for? What are they, like, did you see that motherfucker go into that house? Like, that's my firm belief. If you do not know that motherfucker is in that house emphatically, the judge should be like, no, what are you doing? And then for the city to not pay for it is insane. You have to pay for your fuck ups. That is my rant.